Oh, yes, it is time again. I'm ill prepared as every other time. I have absolutely nothing to go on here except for the fact that it's 22:22 and it is time to start the stream. And today I actually had some sort of energy and kept myself above the surface, as they say. Even if I barely slept anything at all, but I think we're gonna do just fine. So I thought I would have everything prepared, but of course I don't. So I think it's gonna be a quick stream. I was thinking of trying some things out, but I didn't have time to prepare, and I didn't have time to make it before I told myself I would go on. But if you have zero clue about what's going on here, which you should because there's no one here, so I can say anything. Look, I made a video a while back. Was part of a live stream I did, the last live stream I did, actually, and I went over some Swedish COVID statistics that have since been deleted. Had since been deleted since I found them. I had a screenshot. I went over them. I just thought they were interesting. Most of all interesting because the government hasn't acknowledged them in any way. They haven't said anything about them at all. They didn't say anything when they published them. They didn't say anything when they took them down, as far as I know. And I'm just looking for this stuff. But now I didn't look for a couple of days, and I got a comment on one of my videos. And I was gonna do a shout out to that dude. I totally forgot. I'm gonna have a look. Let's have a look. See what was his name. This amazing guy. Obviously. Yeah, shout out to Jonathan Hall. Jonathan, thank you for taking the time, checking my video out, and commenting. Man, that's like above and beyond. I am just doing this as a sort of experiment for myself to get into using the camera, hooking everything up, using OBS. I mean, really streaming live, and then also editing something coherent out of that extremely incoherent live stream. And so I normally wouldn't just leave a black screen here, and I could show. I was thinking like I'm gonna show that video again. I showed a video of Northern Lights. I'm so past it. I can't be bothered. But basically, Jonathan Hall commented on my video, and he was wondering how come they took it down. How come they took down those statistics that you had in your video? And I just thought, like, I wrote a reply. I was like, I think it's strange because they normally communicate everything, and they haven't communicated anything regarding this. Nobody talks about this. And so it's equally strange that they put it up without saying anything as taking it down without saying anything. And what they replaced them with was new stats with a very hard to grasp subdivision, which I just didn't really understand. But then after he commented, Jonathan Hall, once again, awesome dude, no clue. I just opened up my computer and I was like, look, did they do anything? Because they're supposed to update it all the time, continuously. And then lo and behold, they did. They put up some new summarized statistics. And I thought, oh man, yeah, okay, so I guess I'm going to have to go live today, or at least make a test recording. But here we are. I clicked start streaming, not start recording. So that was stupid. So you're looking at a black screen, so I think that's good. I'm going to move on. We're going to go straight into the main story. I did have like a more comedic segment planned before, but I don't think that I'm not going to be able to pull it off because I haven't set up the scenes in OBS, so I don't know how we're going to do that. But maybe I can drag and drop something to the browser. We'll see. But so this is the main story I want to cover, right? And basically, this is like the Ministry of Health or whatever. They normally have published all the statistics. They've been calling the shots during COVID, is what I say. But it's a truth with modification, of course. I'm not trying to be sensationalist. It's just making it more fun when I speak, I guess. But still, I say they've been calling the shots. We're going on their information, and so they have these statistics. And I didn't translate this one, but basically it says confirmed cases in Sweden, daily update, right? And so if we look right next to this thing right here, right? If you look right there, you see this hint of like what looks like to be really well summarized statistics. I love those. Just easy charts. Just break it down. Most important to me. We don't need to go into county by county, municipality by municipality, city by city. It just doesn't seem. It doesn't. I'm sure that's interesting and it's good that it exists, but for the general person, for the average person, you wouldn't, you would have to have some kind of big mission in order to put yourself through all of that. However, this thing it's not clickable. You can't do anything with it. I don't know what they thought, and basically if you click here, you get daily statistics and you get like weekly statistics, and then you get by municipality and city, and it's not the same. I'm not gonna go into them as I've become my catchphrase so far. You'll have to take my word for it. But basically, I found another Swedish branch of government. And they are the ones normally responsible for publishing the statistics of the seasonal flu, which I was also going to pull up because I talked about it in another video, but I didn't have time to prepare. I'm really sorry. But so, and here I screwed up. Here I translate. There we go. That's what they call it, right? The National Board of Health and Welfare. So they have this. They have these statistics, right? And basically, here's the Swedish version. But don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with that now because I'm enough prepared to. Yes, we have a Google translated version of this website ready to go. So you see deceased in COVID. Here you will find statistics of how many people died in COVID-19 during the corona pandemic in Sweden. Yes. And basically, you want to click one of these to find out, and we see deaths per municipality. I'm not interested in that. I could be, but I'm not for this. I want general statistics. I want countrywide statistics. I want everything, and average it out, which is also becomes truth with modification. Of course, you take all of this with a grain of salt, guys. I am not Dr. John Campbell. I am not a doctor. You will find no medical advice here, and like the Always Sunny podcast, this stream contains no information whatsoever. That's what I want to say, but there's going to be some information, at least some data, and then you'll have to maybe you'll have to aggregate it for yourself in order to turn it into information. But still, and I doubt that we'll be penetrating any real knowledge here, but bear with me. So, what I realized was you do comparisons of mortality. I just clicked it for just general interest. I was like, what's this? And you of course get to another page, which just looks like this. But at the bottom there's some interesting information here. At the bottom there's like two of these PDFs, right? Oh man, but I forgot to translate the PDFs. So there's going to be like another screenshot. But so it comes a bunch of basically, pretext to all of this. How they've done it and how they're counting and what they like per 100,000 inhabitants. They think that's safe. I'm not going to go into it more than that. I'm paraphrasing all of this, so like I'm not here to misrepresent anything that's in here. It's all good if you ask me. So, but so we're gonna. What I did then was I went into this assignment to describe and analyze certain health data for comparisons related to the outbreak of COVID-19. Final report. But that one is in Swedish though. And I'm going to have to scroll through all of this now, I guess, because this is insanity to me. The amount of pretext that they have to this is like, oh my God. But it's like, a scientific report, basically. They got methodology and everything in there. So it's very interesting, and I'm sure you could get into it and really, put a perspective. There's a lot of context that people want in today's society, but I can't give it to you right now. So I can't give it to you right now. But wouldn't you know it, here are those wonderfully coveted statistics that I was looking at on that other website, and I was like, oh, this branch of government has taken their graph into their statistics and are presenting it separately. So this is the data that they've assembled from the Ministry of Health, right? I'm just gonna pull that up a little bit bigger there. Yeah, so then you can see, and I wouldn't necessarily. I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna show you some other stats that exist as well, a little bit different numbers, however, and I'm gonna have to use a calculator to do some number crunching myself. But basically, I think you'll see that between the two numbers we're gonna talk about here, we're gonna present. Yeah, it's the same as I said in my first video. Go check it out on YouTube or Rumble, you guys. People. So this is these are like disease cases of people who were just diseased. So just general cases. So you got 938,343. It's a lot of cases, really. That means well above 10% of the population just like it's confirmed. And I'm pretty sure they took a lot more tests, and we're going to check those other statistics out as well, and they will have a little bit of a higher number on the number of cases, but I trust this branch of government just because they have other numbers that I've quoted for so many years. So I think they're good. I think they're trustworthy. I don't think there's going to be an issue. But so 938,343 cases just in general. We have 6,733 people sent to the intensive care, and we have 13,923 deceased. And I'm really sorry to be so blasé about all of this. I'm really tired. I haven't slept. I have a headache. I probably have post-COVID. Horribly. And, but I just want to shout out to Antihero in the chat. Hello, boss Mang. So this is it, right? I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'm not here to say that this isn't killing people, and I don't want to just gloss over, oh, look how many diseased people. That's how I feel when I go through these numbers, that I'm making YouTube content out of dead people, which is insane in one way, but because everything in the media for the last 2 years have been about how many people died today, and this is how many people died near you, and people are dying all over the place. I feel like it's not my fault. I have been numbed out. My brain has just been battered with this stuff until people dying, which is a horrible thing, and I'm an empathetic guy, trust me. I'm like, I'm not gonna say those words, what I am, but like it's hard not to feel pain with people who are dying, especially from this lab created man-made monstrosity that has been released upon us. But anyway, if we crunch these numbers, we say, well, I mean, this is gonna be quick. I'm not here to make like anything big here, but so I already have this punched in, but I'm gonna do it again live. So, 938,343 cases, right? This is how I normally do it. I just go like, what's 1% of that? Then, oh well, of course, 9,383.43. That's 1%. Yeah, so that's all I need. I need to know what is 1%, right? And then I copy that, and then we see. And I'm sorry you can't see the calculator. I didn't prepare that at all, but you're gonna have to take my word for it. That if we then take the 13,923 people who have or confirmed deceased with COVID. Actually, I don't know if that's with or from. It's been a lot back and forth with that in Sweden, and in my mind, I have an amazing video for that, but I need to do so much preparation, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time. But so we do 13,920. You've already figured this out in your head long time ago, right? So this is just for the dummies like me who can't think right now due to post-COVID. But so we just split that number by the number we just copied, by the... Oh, fuck. I fucked it up. Great live stream. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. We're going to have to go into the history. Yes, please. Select all and copy that, please. Okay, one more time. I'm so sorry. 13,923. And we're going to divide that by our fantastic percentage. And we're going to see that it lands on 1.48. So we have a confirmed mortality rate of 1.48% with these numbers, right? I think interesting side note, in the number of cases, men and women are very close. This is actually a little bit higher on the women's side, but otherwise pretty close 50-50. But then you look at intensive care cases, right? And you see that men more than double the men, like 2.5 times the men. We got around 2,000 women. We got around, like 5,000 men. So I think that's interesting. And then we have oh man, I don't know if my mouse cursor was visible previously. I thought I set it to be visible because I wanted to mark some stuff, and I don't know. I mean, however, and then you see deceased is a little bit top heavy on the male side, but yeah, men definitely running clearly higher risk of being sent to the intensive care. Because Bill Gates wants to keep all the women for himself. Let's see if we can get through this. Yeah, but so these are official statistics from official Swedish branches of government, and not much more to say there. There were way fewer cases, like a much smaller sample size, and it's statistics that I went through in my previous video on this. And so I was really curious. I just checked it out like 15 minutes before going live. Like, okay, yeah, sure, it fits. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have made a video. Of course I would have. Then I would have made a video and said, like, I'm stupid. I made that too early. Here are the new numbers, right? But of course you shouldn't blame me. They just release statistics and they don't say anything about it. And if anything was wrong with them, you would want to know. Like, communicate, please. They're on social media all the time, all day, all night. They don't move. They don't fart without tweeting it. And nobody knew about these statistics. Nobody's talking about those statistics in the previous video. I haven't heard anyone talk about these statistics either, and they are also quite a surprise for me, as I said. So, but that's to me. I don't really know about anything else. With the previous statistics, I was like, I found them thanks to my buddy, and then it was like 2 months passed, and it's like, okay, nobody's talking about this, because I figured like, oh, I just found them now, but really everybody knows about this, and a ton of a ton of content is already being produced about this on YouTube. It's not. Nobody's talking about it, and so yeah. Now it's a little bit dangerous for me, because now I just found it. To me, it looks like it's really fresh, because last time I checked this website, this didn't exist, and that's like last week or 2 weeks ago at most. So yeah, I don't know if I'm jumping the shark here a little bit. I don't think I used that term properly, but still. So, just to have a little bit different, there is a website called covidstatistics.se. That's, I guess, it's just .se, the Swedish standard, and we can see that, and I have a lot of friends who have been following via this site, and you can see that they have a lot more, just a lot more. Just have so much more, you guys. I mean, they have like two and a half times the number of cases. But so we're still landing on similar numbers to in the death rate, right? Because well, just because. No, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, that's right. But so here we go. Oh yeah, you already have this in the history, so now I'm just gonna tell you. So we got 2 million, you guys, 400,000, 453,000. Man, this is the COVID stuff. I'm really sorry. Like the brain is just like stuttering, literally stuttering. It's insanity to me that this is happening. But so as you can see, I'm gonna go up here. As you can see, right, we have 2,453,936 cases. It also says plus 2,472. I imagine these are like recently reported. Maybe they need to like confirm them somehow. I'm not super familiar with this website. I just wanted to pull up some other statistics, and I grabbed like what pops up first at Google, basically. So oh yeah, you see that the latest new cases is 2,472. I don't know, like I said, ill prepared. I'm really sorry. I wish I could spend more than like 30 minutes. I created a thumbnail, and then I was like, oh fuck, I'm out of time. this won't work. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. But so then you see the total number of deceased cases is, and I don't know. So I have a mouse issue right now. I'm really sorry. Here we have the total amount of cases plus like the latest ones, right? And then here we have the total number of deaths, total number of deceased cases, basically. So if we have almost 2.5 million cases and we have 17,425 deceased among those 2.5 million. I mean, I feel like these are statistics that are going like in sort of to my favor, because my idea is this isn't so dangerous, Oh shit, I totally botched that. didn't hit the border on that one. If you saw the website move there in the overlay, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. But yeah, so if we have those numbers, 2.5 million, and then we have the 17,425 deaths, we actually land at 0.71%, which is closer to what those initial statistics were reporting that I covered in my first video. And yeah, I mean, it's half of less than half of what we get from the official branch of government that reported it, that we just checked out. So that's interesting. Yes, I think so. I think it's pretty interesting. And Swedish government is still doubling down on vaccines and all this stuff, saying that the only way we're going to get out of this pandemic is via the vaccine. I was looking for a clip because I watched the news just before I came to prepare. And the last thing I heard was, of course, just the news anchor, but still, they were saying like, some date, like very, very soon, like a day not far from now. I wish I knew the date. They said COVID will no longer be classified as a disease that poses a threat to society. Some has fought in Swedish. It's like societal danger. I don't know, but whatever. That's the term that they use to describe it. So basically, COVID is officially going to be, put in the endemic category in Sweden finally. And then in the same breath, well, I mean, not literally maybe, but basically in the same breath, but the pandemic is far from over. The people still have to get, like, she's giving the info, the anchor's giving the info, and people still need to get vaccinated and blah blah blah, and this is what someone else had to say about it. And then they go like live on the street with not live, but they go to the street with somebody else talking to someone important who's like, yes, of course we need to vaccinate, and like blah 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 blah, and like, and here's the thing, right? Here comes the diplomacy, guys. Here's the diplomacy. I don't want to take away from the fact that, at least the Swedish healthcare, and as I understand, the US healthcare and UK healthcare have been completely overwhelmed in their ICUs, right? In the intensive care units. They have not had enough beds, and they have not been able to, I guess healthcare system wasn't prepared for this. They've had a hell of a time controlling this thing. And there are people, and I spoke to my sister. She's been working at the hospital during COVID. She's an anesthetic nurse. I hope I'm not saying too much. We'll see. Maybe I'll have to cut this out later. cut that. She was really upset with me because I would say, and I'm sorry, sis, that I'm dragging this out on the internet now. But I've been thinking about it all day. I still say she misunderstood me, but I understood her anger instantly because she thought I said something that would have minimized what she has seen in the ICU, and I instantly said like, no, you're not getting me right. I'm really sorry. I would never take away from your eyewitness experience. And that is a general standpoint that I have about society, how we have grown so far from eyewitness reporting. Now if somebody says they saw something, somebody else immediately quotes like the science. That means that whatever you saw, that's not real. But you should still listen. A person is telling you what they experienced. You should always take that seriously. You should always, even if they might be wrong, even if they imagine something or whatever. You should always do that. So. She thought I was taking something away, that I was saying people aren't dying from this, and other people have made that, they've taken that away from what I've said. And I acknowledge then that maybe I'm not expressing myself as diplomatically as I think. In that moment, I was actually quite upset over other things. So, maybe my tone of voice and my general demeanor probably wasn't the best. But I just want to make sure that anyone out there who might be feeling that same way, this is not what I'm saying. Right? I understand this is a horrible thing. And the way I see it is that because of the amazing transmissibility of COVID, everybody got sick at the same time, basically. And so everyone had to have intensive care now. Whereas with I have to understand it this way, because once again, the seasonal flu on average has a 5% mortality rate, which should bring with it more intensive care cases as well. It should be you'd think so, at least, that it must be some kind of proportion to that a lot of people needed intensive care and they died from not getting the intensive care, or the intensive care not working. Of course, there's a thing there too where with the seasonal flu, we have these set standards for how to treat this thing. And even though we had a set standard for SARS-CoV viruses, we threw that out the window as soon as Corona came along. And so, of course, people weren't getting treatment and just got sick. And in Sweden, we just don't have these Like they're just now getting into treating like post-COVID. That's what we're calling it. You get the long haul thing, the long COVID. They're just getting into that kind of treatment. I'm not even sure that they have acceptable early treatments yet, but I shouldn't say too much. I'm saying I'm not sure. I haven't heard it. It wasn't like my sister, who should know, talked about it. But so I'm just saying, I understand the intensive care has been overloaded, and all of these people have absolutely been there to the intensive care. And of course here we can't see number of intensive care cases. Maybe I could go back to that really. I mean, if we extrapolate, and we can see we got 900,000 here, if like the other website with 2.5 million is anything to go on, then we could just do that 2.5. Then we can see that we have like in the ballpark of like 20,000 maybe people who've been in intensive care. And I mean, these numbers are like fantasy to me. But so point was, I'm not trying to take away anything. I think I lost where I was going with this, but all of this still adds up to basically what I said in my first video, I guess. But then I just brushed it a little bit. Like, I can't see really that there's a reason that for all these politicians to keep pushing the vaccine. I think it's really strange that they are. And the reason I think it's strange is because there isn't any real logic to it. There's no real logic placed behind it except going on what you know about a vaccine, that you get it and then you stop transmitting the virus, and then nobody gets it anymore. But all like Pfizer and AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, I hope I'm getting these right now. Well, you have to take my word for it. All of them have to put on their website. I mean, they don't have to. I guess they obviously do what they do. And I have my own personal history with these big pharma giants. So don't judge me. It doesn't mean I'm anti-vax. I hated them long ago when they prescribed me gabapentin. And way before that as well. But still, so they have on their website that the vaccines don't stop transmissibility. So you get the vaccine, you still transmit. You get the vaccine and you're still contagious, basically. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore the fact that that's what the vaccines are doing. So the vaccines, and I would say that those statistics that I cover in my first video, I say so then too, I'd say that they confirm the fact, I mean, at least it looks like it, that people run a lower risk of ending up in intensive care. And the stories from intensive care are not fun, right? And I've had friends, you know who you are, who reacted quite, I would say, poorly to when I said that, when I started comparing this to the flu. They instantly assume certain things, that you mean certain things. I'm not saying people aren't dying from this thing, but the thing is, we don't transmit, and when I say transmit, sorry, we don't communicate in the media every day the people who die from a seasonal flu and the people who die from all the different cold viruses that spread around. But on an average year, 5% of people who get it die. And because I can only assume because seasonal flus have a much lower rate of transmissibility. I'm sorry, I'm checking the chat at the same time. I got a little distracted. What was I saying? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought as some funny messages came in the chat here, and I don't know how they were funny. I don't get them, but they made me laugh, and now I'm confused. But so what we have to what I would assume is, because a seasonal flu has like the virus is not at all as transmissible as COVID was. Super transmissible virus, right? Everybody gets it. Now with Omicron, that's what everybody's saying. Yeah, you can't avoid it. You're gonna get it. And I think I got it all 3 times and more, right? And this time it should have been Omicron, and it was the worst. It was the absolute worst. So I'm not here to be some virus denier, even though I was toying with the thought in the beginning of this 2 years ago, but like it quickly became clear as friends of my family fell extremely ill within like the first few months. So then I had personal experience instantly. Like, okay, this is reality. So I'm not trying to take away, but so a seasonal flu is not as transmissible, which means it doesn't reach as many people, and it still takes out 5% of them, right? So imagine if it would just spread around like crazy. And we are still talking about like thousands and thousands and thousands upon even more thousands of people every year. But you just don't see that in the media. And because it doesn't, I guess, attack like COVID did, like I said before, so you don't get this like, but also the media isn't mongering, so you're not as scared. You get a flu, you're like, yeah, whatever. But now they told you it's COVID, you're gonna die, man. And then of course everybody runs to the hospital. I'm just saying. So we're like really pumping up the numbers there by making everybody super afraid. But of course, that's part of the plan, and you can discuss whether that is like a good plan or not. But you'd have to admit that it is basically governments hurting you. They think you're too dumb to do what they say, to understand their data, that they're gonna have to, communicate this to you. Thing is, I would say that they would communicate it whether it was true or not, but obviously now it is true, and so we don't have to, make a discussion. That's a discussion about the media, not about COVID, right? And I think people conflate the two. They get tangled up with one another in the media today when people are discussing all this stuff. But so, regardless, do I even know what I'm talking about anymore? Who knows? You get it. You can extrapolate from where I was going. You get the rest. 5% from a seasonal flu. It is 0.38 to 1.47% with COVID. And I'm just yeah. I don't know how these statistics warrant that we continue to say that you have to vaccinate yourself, and and I know all media isn't doing this. I imagine there is one country at least out there, but this is what's going on in Sweden. Like I said, the news anchor is giving you the fact before we go into the story. COVID is endemic, but the pandemic isn't over. I mean, they didn't say endemic. If they would have, that sentence would have sounded ridiculous, as you just heard. It would be crazy. But basically, yes, COVID is not a danger to society, but the pandemic isn't over. I would say those two aren't really, they're not able to connect logically. They're not. A pandemic should by definition be something that poses some kind of a threat to society, or we wouldn't be calling it a pandemic. From another perspective, I guess if we're just talking transmissibility, there was a story in like a Swedish evening press, and they are very sensationalizing, but I was surprised to see it there. Basically they said they had a little different perspective on it than I would, but they said like, well, with this logic, then the seasonal flu is a pandemic. but they were basically saying they thought it should be, and we should approach it the same way. And I wasn't really on board of that train. I'm really sorry that I can't speak, but that's how it is. But so there you go. Yes. Do I have anything more? Have anything more for you guys? I have. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess we leave the COVID statistics there. It's pretty bad, you guys. Seriously. I think like I should have had a talking point where I was like, oh yeah, and this is what I came up with. But really, I just found these statistics, and I wanted to. I do this with my eyes all the time. I'm like, oh guys, I just want to. Oh guys, you guys. Oh. I saw the statistics, and I just thought, yeah, great. I need something to edit. I need to try and see if the stream is stored with the VOD setting now, on, since my first live stream is gone. Great stream so far. Really insightful. Thank you, Antihero. Shout out to Antihero in the chat, everybody. Give that man some subs, man. Okay, but so this is the thing. I am going to now order. Yes, I'm gonna do this. Just hang on. Check this out, guys. Do this live, man. We're gonna boom. We're gonna do. Oh yeah, you don't see shit now, but there you go. Yeah, there I am. That looked good for the stream. But you're gonna say, but Dusty. Oh fuck. That's my name. I shouldn't really. I decided not to use any name here for some reason. I thought I was never gonna introduce myself, but now I accidentally called myself something. Yes. I really want to show you guys something here. So in order to do that, I have to. I'm gonna set this up good, guys. I'm gonna set this up good. Just hang on. Just bear with me. I gotta go to our Discord server. And go into. There we go. I'm gonna try to do this segment that I had planned, which is incredibly stupid, and it is a really feeble attempt to be funny and to have fun. But so. I think that you could do this in OBS. I think this is gonna work. I'm just gonna do this. Oh man. I guess I couldn't do that then. I just switched to Discord, but it didn't like it, man. I'm gonna save this image. Oh come on, man. What is it doing? Oh yeah, open whoa. Yeah, save it. There we go. Now we got it. That's what you do. Don't worry, guys. I know what I'm doing. This is a little bit big. Everything's going great. Can we please make this a little bit smaller? Yeah, there we go. I don't know how I'm gonna. So basically, guys, this is what the hell? Oh, this is crazy. Okay, look, we're gonna do this. So there we go. So next up, a segment I've been planning in my head. I have been planning a little bit, like practically as well. But this is old news, basically. And I've been hamstering old news. I get so triggered when I read certain headlines, certain articles. This is from last year. I had looked up from when. Oh yeah, no. I do know from when. Hang on. Come on, don't fuck up the stream now. But basically, it says 12-year-olds. We also want to get vaccinated. That's what the newspaper said. It was No, it wasn't. I'm wrong. I have no idea what it was. That was the wrong date. But so basically, that's what it says. It's a legit newspaper. I just snapped a photo with my camera, sent in a channel I created on our Discord server in order to make some fun out of it, which I had to do, or I would murder everyone in the entire world, everywhere. But this also tickled my funny bone, guys. It really tickles my funny bone because it puts in my head, like, first of all, we're putting so much weight into what 12-year-olds want for themselves and how they see the world with this. 12-year-olds, we also want to get vaccinated. And so, like, of course we should let them. That's what they want, of course, right? I mean, why else do we have this headline? I mean, who doesn't listen to 12-year-olds? And it put the thought in my head that was like, I wonder what else 12-year-olds want, you know? And clearly they must have, they figured out, you've seen videos on YouTube with these kids who, like, they like basically spell out the world and everything that's wrong with it, and you're like, well, wow, there's so much insight. Like, amazing kids. I love kids. They're the best. And these kids, obviously, they know the pros and cons. They know about herd immunity. They know all these things. They want to get vaccinated, you know? Let them. What are we waiting for? So I looked around, and, you know, it wasn't so easy, actually. But eventually I found a couple of stories. I found 2 stories total that were also 12-year-olds. So I think we're gonna take a look at that one here. See this one? Yes, there we go. Yeah, this one is legit, man. This one is legit. But so basically, world news. I haven't heard of the publication before, really. But you can see, kids, they say the darndest things, man. It's 12-year-olds legalize it. Holy. I think they've gone too far here. I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. We're going to take a little bit of a closer look at this, see what it's all about. Basically, we see that child Wunderkind Alex, he has growing concerns regarding society's still persistently negative view of cannabis. Insightful child, obviously. We can see here, children are more and more at the forefront of promoting policy changes to societal issues. Given the widespread knowledge of even the existence of the endocannabinoid system, several young teens have voiced their concern. I think it's high time, no pun intended, that we end the stigmatization, said one 12-year-old. Also, my dad says it's good shit, you know, so there's that, he later added. This is insanity to me. I don't know. I just feel like kids shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be, you know, knowing about these things. I don't understand, man. Seriously, this is really strange to me. In the age of Greta Thunberg, Greta Thunberg, really? That's what you're going with? You're Swedish? You're going to say that? Okay. In the age of Greta Thunberg, children are waking up in larger numbers and voicing their opinions on everything from the opioid crisis to the war machine. These are no kids that I know about, really, but, like, I am... I don't care. Thunberg. That's right. Thunberg. But, like, yeah, no, I mean, I kind of see where this kid is coming from. Obviously, you know, I can relate a little bit. Still, I'm reserved. We're gonna keep looking a little bit here. One of those kids is Alex Jones. Oh, unfortunate name. Being homeschooled and working every day on his dad's cannabis farm means he knows a thing or two on the topic. Well, I mean, I guess he knows something then, right? I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, mainly perpetrated by the government and online influencers that have swallowed the propaganda hook, line, and sinker. Okay, this guy is serious. All life on Earth has evolved to maintain exclusive receptors both in body and brain, which only serve the function to interact with all the active compounds found in cannabis. The endocannabinoid system has been known since at least early Chinese dynasties, several thousand years ago. It's just within the past few hundred years that we somehow decided to conveniently forget about it. I think society's past do start questioning the so-called war on drugs and what drug really means, and how that and other words have been used to get them to believe in a system of laws not just made up to benefit the people who wrote them, but to actually be disadvantageous to everyone else. And forget all the things you've heard about the potential revenue of the taxation would bring. This is an issue regarding both personal and bodily autonomy, not to mention the insane authoritarianism inherent in punishing people for sometimes even just stating that, he said, after we tried to confirm his name for the third time. Yeah, that figures. That figures. I knew it. This kid he's blazed, man. Yeah, but as you can see, seriously, kids they're getting into things nowadays, man. I think we should listen. I really do. I have one more. I found one more. I thought it was interesting. This one, a little bit more trusted publication, obviously. That's not really supposed to be there, but 12-year-old offers support to Canadian truckers amid COVID vaccine mandate. Oh, now this kid. Yeah, this kid knows something, that's for sure. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know why I haven't heard about these kids so much, but like, I mean, they're clearly up to snuff, you know, like they're in the loop. Let's see what this kid has to say. Let's see here. Part-time trucker and activist Fred knows how important people's right to protest really is. Well, it kind of looks like it. Vaccines are one thing, but mandates? I got my jabs, but if it were up to me, I'd join the convoy as soon as my shift is done, said little trucker Fred Savage. After a hard day behind the wheel neared its end. You'd think I'd have some practice reading these things. As a citizen, I understand the importance of everyone's right to protest, and I'm starting to figure out basic algebra pretty good too. I mean, kind of says it all a little bit. I don't know if he should I don't know who's letting him drive this truck. Seriously, it feels irresponsible, but at the same time, I mean, 12-year-olds, give them what they want, right? Justin Trudeau be damned. The child truckers stand with their own when it comes to the issue of vaccine mandates. Little Fred Savage is no exception to that rule. I'm opposed to any kind of governmentally backed enforced mandate. It's bad enough I have to wake up super early and go to school every weekday. I mean, what is this, North Korea? Kid, I think they got worse things to worry about over there, to be honest, but, you know, I don't know. He kind of lost me there a little bit, but let's see what he says. But it isn't always as easy as ABC 123, as Fred will tell you. Between working late shifts and school, as I said, I barely have the energy to get up and watch Saturday morning cartoons. I still put in my hours, though. I still put my hours in, just as any other trucker. And as soon as this whole mess is over, I'm also hoping to do a convoy to end my curfew. My parents have gone far enough. Look, I get it. TPing Mr. Gates' house was bad, and we're all really sorry. But he stole Eric's ball when it went over his hedges, and then he smiled like a creep. So we were really upset that day. But anyway, it's like they draw a line in the sand, and then it just keeps moving closer and closer, he said. And that's it. I don't know who's reporting this. There's no name. There's no name of who's writing these articles, but I think they're missing something. But you get the gist of it. Like, kids are, I mean, they're going for it, man. They're getting in there. I think it's good. Get them early. Start early. You know, really. You know, you want to do something, you got to learn how to, and you know, yeah. So, right to protest. Yeah, this is all really, really good stuff. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really sorry, you guys. I have no idea on what level of stupidity I'm existing right now, but I mean, I didn't make up the first one, though. I mean, this is fucking real. This shit is real right here. This shit is just like, this is a real newspaper with people who somehow think that When I read a news article, the first thing I would ask myself would be like, okay, so what does it give us that this is written? Like, what are we trying to achieve? Because I don't think an article should be written that isn't trying to achieve something, and I doubt that it really is. And so the only thing I could extrapolate is that, like, we need to kind of normalize the way people think about vaccinating 12-year-olds, because guess what? They want to get vaccinated. And they are totally informed. You know, they don't watch Joe Rogan. They know what's going on. They don't even know who Dr. Peter McCullough is. It's not interesting to them. They're just like, fucking jab me. I like syringes in my arm. As all 12-year-olds will tell you, And obviously they've like unionized, organized something, and they've brought forth a spokesperson who's like, he's speaking for all 12-year-olds. And I mean, grammatically, that's not really what it says. I mean, but grammatically, that's how it can be interpreted. All 12-year-olds, right? I don't think that's a coincidence. But so that's really what gave me the idea that there has to be other articles out there with 12-year-olds, just so you get where I'm coming from. But it's all supposed to be fun, guys. Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. Yeah, whatever. It's gonna be fine. And yeah, I don't know if I have anything else for you. I have plans for videos in the future, of course. They're gonna be about words, the way we use words, Sacha Baron Cohen and conspiracy theories. I'm gonna have something at some point about political name calling. I don't think that's doing anyone anything good. And I think there are a lot of funny videos out there that you can compile. Just watch people argue with one another, and you can see how stupid it is when you don't listen to the other person, right? And of course, I am collecting, but I just started, so we'll see how that goes. I am collecting tweets by like big politicians that I think are. I think that some of them are extremely entertaining. Some of them are extremely disturbing. And what can I say? We live in disturbing times, guys. I really want to make a video about Ukraine and what's going on there, because I've learned a lot of things in the past few days, where there are things that have been reported on since the Maidan revolution in 2014, right? 2013, 2014. And that's being connected with what they're reporting now, which is the armament and enforcement of the Azov battalion, who are National Socialist group. They're a National Socialist group. They are Nazis. To the word, they are literally Nazis, and Sweden has been highly involved in funding them, sending weapons to them, and doing their part to help NATO overthrow the right-wing government that was installed 2013, 2014, right? That got overthrown. But basically, as I understand this, but maybe don't take my word for this one. This is a dangerous topic. But basically, you could see that government that was overthrown, you could see that as their Trump, basically. That was like the wave that swept through Europe when everything went like super right-wing, and everybody had these they had these super right-wing parties that wanted to close the borders and stop the immigration and all of these things, which I'm telling you now, I think is crazy. That's not how the world works. That's not, it's not because oh, you're supposed to be humanitarian, blah blah blah. It's like, no, dude. I'm speaking as a Swedish person. It's like, we're sending weapons to these conflicts. We are helping NATO arm these militia groups that overthrow governments and then later become a threat to the US government that we also have to send soldiers to fight sometimes. And we are doing all of this shit, and millions of people have to escape from their home country. And Sweden is directly involved in causing that situation. And we are right now as well. One of the most important things is to know about the Ukraine story. Forget if these guys are Nazis or not. I mean, you could potentially prop up some Nazis and have them overthrow a bad government, I guess, But basically, that was the Trump government, and they have been jailed for life by the new government, which is also pretty strange. It's not really something you do in a democracy, is it? Doesn't sound like a democratically elected government, really, because they had one that was democratically elected, the one that was overthrown. At least that's what we were told initially when the election went through. It was still a bad result, everybody thought, because, no more right-wing parties are now leading the show, But you can't just fucking throw those people in jail because they're right-wing. And in exchange for an allegiance with Nazis, it seems counterproductive, at least. But the most important thing you can know about Ukraine right now, the absolute most important thing, is that when the U.S. and NATO got involved against the Soviet Union with the reunionization of East and West and East Germany, right? There was like a peace accord or whatever there was. It was still an agreement that was signed by the then presidents, right, of Soviet and U.S. that has been honored until a few weeks ago, which was that Soviet will back out from like Central Europe. Germany can reunite, be one Western country. And this will happen in exchange that NATO will never, under any circumstances, expand to the east. And I learned yesterday that the phrase was 1 inch to the east. 1 inch anyway. I think they're east. This should be east, right? They're not, because it's not like north. You're going to the east, right? So anyway, I'm really sorry, guys. Every president since East and West Germany reunited has respected this treaty. NATO has not been pushing for these countries that are on the border of Russia. That's basically what it means. Like all of these countries that are just below our border, you don't get to be there. Any such action will be interpreted by Russia as an act of war. This has been known, and East and West Germany, what are we talking about? We're 2020. It's like the 50 years. Does that even do it? Is that enough? Yeah, it was like the 80s. Who can count? We're talking about like close to 40 years that they've been holding this peace, right? And that nobody has done this. And now, just coincidentally, when all of Europe's countries is when because of the 2014 Maidan revolution, Putin has really been holding it together, one could say, for several years, not doing anything counter, because what he saw was NATO is going into one of these countries that they were never going to go into. And now they're there, toppling governments, installing themselves as well. That's the thing. And that's what they're not allowed to do, right? And so I'm not going to say that Putin is like this, he's a stand-up guy. That is good, right? I'm sorry. The chat is distracting me, and I'm really sorry. Putin is not a good guy. I don't think so. And I think they're all controlled by the World Economic Forum by Klaus Schwab anyway, which has definitely been something being able to be pinpointed recently. But I'm going to try to wrap everything up here, because I think I need to end this because I'm going crazy. And I need to go to the bathroom. NATO has been pushing in there for some time, and they've been doing these reports that Putin is up to something. But Putin didn't agree. He's like, no, you've been here since 2014 fucking with me. You're doing this and he has millions of people looking at him now like, hey, what about that accord? Are you going to let them do this? I say millions, but he's got people who are definitely expecting him to do something. So he was 100% provoked into doing this idiotic invasion. But there's also reports coming from Ukraine that what's actually been happening is that this Nazi like military unit, they're like 12 to 14,000. I don't remember if it's 12,000 or 14,000 people, but that's a lot of people. They are basically helping to commit a genocide of all the people who have been identified as like their Russian-speaking portion of the people in Ukraine, and they have been stamped like many people have been stamped anti-vax in today's climate. They have been stamped as like, you know, resistance. They don't like the new government. They don't like the Maidan revolution, so they gotta go. And they've been killing those people since 2014. And there has been some reports. You could Google this. You can Google it. You can find actually some traces of it on Wikipedia, even though Wikipedia is clearly controlled by who, I don't know who, but like still, you can go check all of these things out. I'm telling you, you can see it, and you just have to take my word for it until then. Really, I guess that's all there's to it. And yeah, but I think those are the most important things to know. And for Swedish people, this is a fucking scary time because the prime minister has okayed sending 50,000 fucking munition things. They are, you know, I say munition, but it's like it's guns, it's ammo, rocket launchers. They're sending everything. They're just sending all these things, 50,000 of everything, 50,000 total of a bunch of stuff. And telling the Swedish people to, like, you know, ready up. Every man has not every man. Everyone has to do their part. And all I'm asking is, like, what part are you asking me to do, man? I see what you're doing. Sweden is supposed to be a neutral country, and we're not. We are helping NATO to push in on territory that they have signed an agreement that they would never push in on. And the only reason is because there's a natural gas reserve and a gas line going through Ukraine that Russia controls. And if you listen to Noam Chomsky, he's been saying this for fucking 50 years, right? The only reason that these empirical powers are invading and occupying other countries is, in fact, to control their resources, their natural resources and whatever, all the resources. You control the border, you control everything in the country going in and out, and you get your cut. And European electrical prices have been sky high. Swedish electrical prices have been shooting through the roof. They're like up 800%. We had an insane, like before we realized what was going on. We had an insane. We had to pay like half the money we have in the whole household for fucking electricity. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's not how it's supposed to be for anyone. Of course, some people don't have electricity, so I totally see that. Don't blame me. I'm diplomatic. I get it. I see these things, okay? I know that there are two sides to each coin, but this coin is pretty clear. It's not one-sided, but both sides are kind of the same thing. They're kind of heads. So the past few months, Sweden has been investing in I mean, like, I guess hundreds of millions of euro in solutions to become more like electricity independent. Oh, we have to stop being dependent. They've been shouting about stop being dependent on foreign oil for so long, but now that we've been like fucking with NATO and Putin's mad and he's like, well, gas prices is gonna go up for you bitches. You're not gonna do this unpunished. That's basically Putin's sanction on Sweden and other countries that also do this. So we just mass invest into these new solutions that are going to get us power. They're even talking about we're going to build another nuclear plant when we've just like sealed the deal a few years ago. They're like, no, we're going to unfold that whole nuclear power plant that we already have. We're not going to use it anymore. We're going to get off of that. Now they're like, we need another one because we're dependent on on Russian natural gas. So all of these things are connected. Sweden, if basically somebody told the Swedish prime minister at some point, I'm pretty sure, look, do you want cheap electricity again? Yeah, good. Then you support NATO and you send fucking munitions and all this shit in. Um, we don't care if Putin's saying he's gonna fucking nuke you, because basically he is threatening, he is insinuating. I don't think the Swedish people know this, but you can look at international media. Putin had a very special and separate warning to Sweden and Finland: don't get involved. I don't think there weren't many days that went by before we saw fucking Magan on TV, like the prime minister, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we're going in," and I'm laughing because what else can I do? Basically, a nuke is gonna drop here any day unless people fucking get it together, man, and start realizing what's going on. We are not the good guys in this fight. We are not. We are backing fucking Nazi paramilitary extremists. And sure, they get the job done from a certain point of view, but it has been at the cost of the Russian-speaking population, you know, in Ukraine. And also, it has led to the jailing of whatever was left of the old overthrown government, and whatever was left of them was who they did not burn to death, basically. They beat the shit out of a lot of people, but they burned people to death in governmental buildings. Like, I don't know if we should be supporting that either, even if it was like a bad right-wing government. I don't think this one evil doesn't cancel the other one out. But guys, that's what I'm going to say. I'm trying to keep it neutral. I'm trying to be diplomatic. And I said guys, but I meant people. And I am out of here. That is it. This is enough. It has gone on for too long, longer than it should have. And I think there's only one guy in here. But if you watched this, I want to thank you for watching. And I would like you to consider if you found any of this entertaining or informative or anything else, to please send me some correlating karma via the almighty algorithm. That's it for me, guys. Send diplomacy out. Bye-bye.